Emily's not with us tonight, so bear with me, cause I'm gonna be doing paper notes while we're talking, so I'll do my best.
Do you want to remain in the room?
It's okay, cause I'm already really familiar with how it goes. Come on, we're just calling to order. Alright, so I'm here, Renee.
Yes.
Emily cannot be with us tonight. Chris?
Yes.
And April? Here. Alright, Kyle?
Here.
Marcus?
Yes.
Aaron?
Yes.
Seda?
Yep.
Yay! Alright. Hopefully board members have had a chance to review the agenda as it was posted. If there are no changes, if I can get a motion to approve?
I'm gonna push you for the agenda.
I'll second that. Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Alright. Our motion is approved. Alright, first up, we have our student council report. Come on up.
Hi guys, my name is Oliver Slather and I'm here as a student council treasurer. Here is what the Frederic students did in February and March so far, and what's coming up in April. First of all, we are hosting a March Madness competition for all interested students and staff. This week, the bracket will be made, giving everyone a first week bye. Last month, we ran Winter Wellness, in which students and staff were broken into countries and had a multitude of activities, dress-up days, and trivia contests surrounding both mental and physical wellnesses. Students participated in Mindful Monday, where we learned about mindfulness as a practice, and were encouraged to spend time thinking about our own future goals and wants. Students participated in Thankful Thursday, where we were able to show gratitude to anyone in our lives with a note to them. Students also tested their knowledge at the Olympics questions during lunch. Students practiced physical fitness wellness in assorted activities during Winter Wellness. Some of those activities included Olympic torch relays, paper plate skating, ultimate triathlon, plunger bobsled, and dodgeball. My team, Italy, was the winner of it. Finally, we will host a state testing competition party on April 10th during Viking time to celebrate all the hard work and dedication students have put in state testing this year. We will have another student council assembly on April 24th to continue our competition for February. Thank you guys. That's our recap.
Thank you so much. Alright, and next we have a presentation from our business. Where do you want to be? Where do you
This is
want
Lottie's our.
Yeah, I'm gonna
our
introduce
advisor for
her.
speech. Okay.
And then we'll figure that out.
Okay.
It's been an exciting year for speech. I'm Prudence Lottie, most of you know me, but I'm the speech coach for both high school and middle school. Carrie Ide is also assisting me with the high school, and Kelly Hopkins is assisting with the middle school, which is a change for this year, but it's working out really well. What we're most excited about is the growth we've seen, primarily in the high school with our numbers. In part, or largely, I think that's due to the addition of the middle school program, which is something Aaron and I started 4 years ago. So, post-COVID, our numbers in the high school often were just below 20, maybe 15 to 18 students each year. Last year we had 16 high schoolers. This year we have 35. Most of them are freshmen, which has been really fun, but also nice in that all of those freshmen already have some experience with speech. So it's been a smoother transition for them because they've had some experience in middle school. So the group I brought tonight, they're 8th graders. They've been doing this for a few years. And so they are a good example of what middle school speech can do and how it can prepare students for high school. I'm trying to think what I wanted to explain. They're in a category called a reader's theater, which is similar to what some of you have seen in the high school level, which is called a group interpretive reading. So what they're going to do is present a piece of literature. They are going to use their voice, expression, gestures to do more than just read it to you, but to breathe some life into it for you. So with that, I have Tegan, Amy, and Josephine. And they need a little bit of space, so I don't know if we can move. Yeah. Okay, so maybe we can just kind of put you guys over here.
Yes, I will.
Okay. And this is intended to be amusing. So if it strikes you funny, don't hold back, just laugh. This is intended to be enjoyable.
Alright, am I gonna be talking anyone? I don't have to see my hand.
Dracula,
Hannibal,
Frankenstein. These villains are famous.
timeless.
And we all know exactly who they are. But how exactly did they get their start?
In How to Be a Villain, the author provides step-by-step instructions on how you can get started on becoming a supervillain.
How to Be a Villain by Neil Zawacki.
Step 1. Choosing an evil name.
To get your career launched with flair, you'll want to give yourself a good evil name.
One that is memorable, catchy, and short.
Choose carefully, as this is what you will be known as for the rest of time. The normal name.
Believe it or not, you don't always need a big, flashy name.
Trust in your own evil deeds.
Should you become terrible enough, that alone can inspire fear in all of humanity.
Elon Musk.
Kim Kardashian.
Gordon Ramsay.
The
descriptive name.
What exactly makes you so bad?
If you like to crush things, for example, you might decide to call yourself the Pulverizer.
Evil geniuses with multiple limbs might want to opt for the octopus.
And the fastest creature known to man may simply just go as the Flash.
The sinister name.
Lord Firehammer.
Duke Iron Skull.
Dr. Wormblight.
Just let your creativity flow.
Step 2. Evil branding.
Be sure to make your new identity echo in the minds of the timid with some new sophisticated evil branding.
Chances are you can come up with a great idea all on your own.
And you'll definitely need a slogan.
3 to 5 words that sum up your evil ways in an intimidating fashion.
Remember, you're talking directly to your victims here.
So make sure it's a message that they could relate to.
For an example, mercy is not an option.
You can't handle the truth.
Let the darkness consume you.
And never forget.
A trademark gesture.
Whether you leave behind a token of your villainy,
Or howl from a mountaintop on each fortnight.
Remember that consistent delivery of a gesture or symbolic act will help reinforce your name and identity.
making it much more likely that your evil ways will survive.
Step 3. The evil laugh.
A must-have.
There are a number of excellent ways you can enhance your evil persona,
You can't portray a foreign accent.
Or exaggerate a physical defect or tick.
but the most essential skill by far is
An evil laugh. The evil laugh is a defining characteristic of any supervillain.
And you will find yourself calling on it quite regularly as you exult in your own wickedness.
once you've decided upon a laugh, you must practice it every day.
Take a deep breath, relax, and feel yourself laugh like a crazed hyena.
Learn all its different tones and inflections, exploring the many ways it can inspire fear.
Step 4.
Fashion for the evil doer.
This is the most agonizing decision of your entire career.
What to wear?
It may seem wrong, but many people form ideas about how evil you are based on how you dress and carry yourself.
It's hard to go wrong with a classic black outfit.
Sinister, foreboding, fashionable, yet fearsome.
Black creates an air of mystery.
Classic black remains the fashion statement for villains everywhere.
But if you spent your childhood hiding in the backyard reading comic books, you probably won't be happy with anything less than the supervillain costume with all of the gimmicks.
You could have a green jumpsuit with question marks, or an outlandish clown suit that shoots confetti.
The gimmicky costume will automatically provide a motive which you can adopt your own personal theme.
As you design your costume, Take your appearance into consideration.
Color-filled leotards are high in visual impact.
Remember, spandex is a privilege, not a right.
Evil masterminds who possess a magical inclination may want to invest their money in wizard robes.
These sleek garments are a deal for sorcerers, providing an additional fashion sensibility.
And open air comfort.
Plus, they look great with sandals.
You can find them in a wide range of colors.
Please, whatever you do, just avoid white.
Because white is associated with good, and you do not want that.
Sadly, because you'll also look like you're wearing a toga.
It's also very important not to forget a location for your lair.
Every evil mastermind needs a base of operations.
So choose your layer carefully.
If you have enemies, they'll probably show up on your doorstep eventually.
you want it to be an impressive resemblance of your grandeur.
So consider the following.
An underground headquarters. To the untrained eye, this secret entrance looks nothing more than an isolated shack in the middle of nowhere.
But should you take the secret elevator hidden within, all is horribly revealed.
An underground headquarters is a diabolical lair of which you can be proud of.
Popular for their low energy bills.
The
ultimate privacy.
Only a madman could live here.
A subterranean lair is an excellent choice indeed.
The fake mountain with a hollow interior is another appealing sight.
On the outside, it looks like any other mountain, but with the flip of a switch, you can transform it into a deadly fortress of doom.
The only issue with the fake mountain is you probably shouldn't place it in the middle of a city.
For some reason, they're often too noticed here.
Although considered gimmicky for years, the amusement park lair has seen a resurgence in popularity in recent times.
The reason is simple. The decor can easily be transformed into the carnival of horrors.
The funhouse is laced with booby traps.
And the hall of mirrors at the end will easily confuse our heroes.
The tunnel of love offers endless possibilities for becoming the tunnel of screams.
Fun for the whole family. Step 5.
Last but not least, you must have
An evil plan.
Have you ever just wanted to make a great evil plan, but just didn't have the time to do it?
You're not alone.
In fact, many evil supervillains struggle with this culminating act.
The secret to success is planning ahead.
The evil plan generator can help you.
By identifying your goals and target for destruction, the EPG lets you concoct a truly ingenious scheme in a matter of minutes.
Simply fill in the blanks.
For example, Stage 1.
To begin, you must first kidnap the president.
This will cause the world to sit up and take notice immediately.
Everyone will be shocked by your arrival.
Who is this evil genius?
Where did he come from?
And why does he look so good in a pink tutu? Stage 2.
Next, you must seize control of Mount Rushmore.
This will all be done from your headquarters of doom.
A mysterious place of unrivaled dark glory.
Upon seeing this, the world will just give up.
All while countless hordes of ninjas haste at your every bidding.
Stage 3. Finally, you must unleash your secret blow-up clown.
Bringing about the return of COVID-19.
Your name shall become
Synonymous.
with shenanigans.
And no man will ever dare call you names ever again.
Everyone will bow before your superior nasal power.
And the world will have no choice but to give you control of the entire planet.
Awesome. Very good. Well done.
That was just
Nice job, Jen.
That was just delightful.
You bet, I'll never do that.
Very good, ladies. Thank you very, very much. Thank you. I've seen that. And that's what I was Yeah.
Thank you so very much. You guys are, of course, welcome to stay for the meeting, but you definitely do not.
It's never been as exciting as that.
Yeah, it's not nearly
Oh,
as
that was-
good. I can't match.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. That was so great. Well, that's an impossible act.
I know. We're done.
We just close the meeting and move on. That was fabulous. All right, back to other business. That's a lot less fun than that. Do we have any person requesting an audience with the board tonight? Going once, going twice, going 3 times. All right. We are on to our consent agenda. There are minutes there for review for board members. And Kyle, do you want to point anything out from invoices and receipts
Sure,
tonight?
invoices and receipts, you'll see 0299 to Associated Bank for $372,125. That's the building referendum that's always due in March, that's been paid. They overcharged us by $25,000, and you'll see on the receipts number 242305, we got the money back from them, so good catch on Libby's part. The Legacy Solar, you'll see a bill for $30. You might say, well, gee, what's that? We already got the solar panels and stuff, but that was for a community ed class they taught. And then check 29464 Frederic Area Scholarship Foundation. Someone donated $4,000 towards the scholarships, but they sent it to the school rather than the foundation, so we got the check, balanced it out and sent them the check on, so it's just money in, money out. That's about it for those bills and receipts coming in. We did receive the payment from the 10 municipalities for February property taxes and one from the January. Those are all in. And that's about it. All of them are in now, so that's good for January, February, so that's the first half of the taxes. The rest will come after July 1, so that's good. And then if you look at your summary sheet, we're a little over halfway through the school year, and our Fund 10, our expected expenditures are at 47%, so we're doing well in that area. And then if you check the fuel, electricity, and natural gas, they're up this year from last year because all costs have gone up.
Any questions for Kyle about invoices and receipts or the current budget summary? Alright. There's a list there of sort of new hires. Kyle or Miss Erin, do you want to talk about any of those, or Jada? With any of the ones that
We
are
can
listed
each
there?
take theirs.
Sure, we hired a 4K teacher with lots of experience from Siren. Actually the wife of a current employee in the Agent Flanagan, his wife Katie Flanagan. She's very excited to start with us. She actually told me she regretted she was gonna apply for the open position last fall, and she was kicking herself for not doing it, but she was happy that there was another opening.
And we hired 2 positions in the special education department, but one of them was a speech and language pathologist, Paula Zielinski. She's a Frederic graduate, but she's currently contracted through CISA, but works at Siren. And so she comes with a vast amount of experience, was in Webster for 15 years, so we are very, very fortunate and lucky to snag her. And then Nick Seeger, this is a position that we've added on, so now a special education teacher that we currently have is leaving. It was an added on position. He currently is in Chisago Lakes, and he's working at an autism learning center, but he worked in Grantsburg before, and it comes with a lot of experience too, so we're very fortunate for those 2 hires, so.
A lot, but not as much as Paula.
Exactly,
Like-
there you go,
like
that's the
like
difference,
7 or 8
that's the
years maybe,
difference,
yeah.
okay.
Well, once again, like super exciting that like everybody's coming with experience, you
experience.
know.
Mhm.
That's
a big deal,
wonderful, and
so.
finding a speech pathologist, I thought that
That's
would
huge.
be like a
That
needle
was
in a
huge.
haystack, yeah, so.
We thought we were gonna have to maybe do virtual or contract through CISA, and so that was
Well,
really nice.
CISA doesn't have one,
Correct.
they're looking right now themselves, so we're very fortunate.
Excellent, well done. And then we have a variety of coaching positions and volunteers with softball and high school track, and then middle school track as well. so. And no retirements or resignations to talk about at this time. And then we do have some recognition of donations from this past month. So youth sports donated $400 to the high school softball team, $750 toward track hoodies, and $1,000 toward softball pullovers. So our teams can be outfitted properly, which is great. The SNOWS organization donated $320 toward negative lunch balances. And our parent-teacher organization donated $1,000 toward the end-of-the-year Valley Fair trip for grades 8 through 11. So again, thank you to all of our wonderful organizations that are creating donations for us. If there are no other questions, can I get a motion to approve the consent agenda?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, consent agenda is approved. We are on to our administrative reports. Who wants to go first? Anyone want to volunteer? Volunteer.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll get it. Okay, so the biggest thing I wanted to highlight is that we, that joint federal notification packet, came out, and it comes out every February, and reflects the year prior. And we've been in a category called needs improvement the last 2 years. And that's specifically related to our ELA and math proficiencies. It is targeted towards special education students, but it also allows districts to reflect on universal practices. So we've been doing a lot of work about that for the last 2 years. We got our notification packet for this year and we passed, which is huge, which means we're no longer needs improvement. And that has a lot to do and a lot to say to our teachers who have been working diligently on their lesson plans, always reflecting on our essential standards, making sure that we're differentiating for not just special education students, all students in general. And we passed by a lot of points, and our ELA and math proficiency scores went up a lot with special ed, and we love that. So that's a huge celebration for everybody that has been super helpful with that. So that's the biggest thing. And then the other, kind of working through those scheduling pieces still. And then Kelly Fisher and I were also able to present to a CISA DAC meeting, which was exciting. That's the second presentation now CISA's asked Kelly Fisher and I to do, because they're impressed with certain things that we have in place here in Frederic. So, yeah. Thanks, Ann.
You're welcome.
Oh, question.
Yeah.
Is that for elementary and high school?
For which one? The JFN packet that I was saying?
Yeah.
Yes, yep, so it's 4K, well, they're not 4K 12, but it's, 3 through 12, cause those are the, those are the state testings.
That's great.
It is really good.
Okay.
So, we've been doing a lot of work with that, because we've been identified and we've had to meet with DPI and stuff, so it means we're doing the right stuff, so.
Nice, excellent. I like that. Congratulations, that's
Yes.
wonderful.
I was excited.
As you should be, as you and your whole team.
Yes.
Part of it too, to give Jana some credit, is the nature of our size.
Yeah.
And so,
Yeah.
you know, you get dinged a little bit if you have too much pullout
Yeah.
for special ed, but if we don't have a remedial math class or like a
Yes.
pre-algebra, you can't just throw a student into algebra.
Yeah.
And so we direct instruction pullout, well then you get dinged for that.
Yeah.
So I think a lot of it is like good intentions, but then we're small, so that
Yeah.
sometimes it looks bad.
Rachel at DPI that I've been working with for 2 years has heard my transparent thoughts on some of the process. And she is wonderful and will listen to me,
I am
and
not
she'll be like, that this is the way. I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, but I just need you to know. So,
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been good.
No, it's good to have that feedback for them, because not everything they put in place is super helpful. That's excellent. Any other questions for Jada? All right, who's next? All right, Marcus.
And I might need to start going before the student council presenter, because I steal some of my. So, just throwing that out there. Middle school speech wrapped up, I had Miss Lottie send me a little synopsis of what happened there, but they had 34 middle school students participating, which is really great numbers. It's almost a third of the middle school. They had 2 speech competitions in St. Croix Falls and 1 at Unity. And 13 out of 15 groups earned high-level excellence ratings, which is really great. I was actually at the Unity meet. I was bouncing around between some of the rooms, and that went really well. Everyone was well behaved, and that we're having a good time, so it's really not surprising how successful the high school numbers we have here, because our middle school program has really done well. Miss Lottie has really did a great job with it, so it's really awesome, and Miss Hyde and Hopkins too, so, great. Middle school had dance, and they had like 50 to 60 kids attend, which was like, that was great. Was Under the Sea theme, I don't know if that was it. Mr. Diprenner, if you don't know him, he was dancing or for what his version of dancing is, from what I'm told, was there dancing. But it was a good time. Everyone that was there seemed to enjoy it. Winter Wellness went, I think, really well for us being on site, and I think we had a good thing for that. All the teachers really pitched in, put a lot of work into the activities, and the student council did as well. We had our trimester 2 award assembly today. Middle school had 26 on the A honor roll and 29 on the B honor roll, and high school had 43 on the A honor roll and 23 on the B honor roll. And we had 5 academic letters, which is 3 consecutive 3.0 trimesters, and that was Brett Bartlett, Freddie Nelson, Hannah Scherf, Brenna Sirik, and Maggie Wooten. So they all got recognized today. That was pretty good. We had 2 powerlifters going to nationals in a couple weeks, which is pretty exciting. Annika Bernowski and Hunter Root.
Where is Nationals at again?
It's outside of Austin.
So I feel like we're still
In Austin, Texas.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yes, Texas, sorry.
Yeah.
Not Minnesota.
Not
Minnesota. There's a ton of
Woo,
Austin.
big trip.
That would be not as, my aunt lives in Austin,
Yeah.
actually, that's not a odd coincidence, Minnesota. But yeah, so they're super excited, they did really well, and if you ask them though, they had the worst meet of their life at state. I've checked in with both of them, and they're just not happy at all. I'm like, you're going to nationals, but they're just not content, which is great. I mean, that's how you want to be as a competitor, so they're super pumped, and we'll have a send-off for them next week. Spring sports are starting. There's a lot of energy in the building. I don't know if you got here early enough, but track's in the building, well, it's
Yeah.
outside to practice, so they're all meeting up here, and it's pretty nice to see them collect and reconnect with each other, and the Luck kids are coming over, and it's just good that the coaches are in there and everyone's smiling, and it's really fun to see. And the softball girls are in the performance gym now where they want to be, but they're making it work for now, and it's really good though. They all have high attitude towards being successful this season. And then my last thing is spring testing is on the way. We got pre-ACT and ACT next week, and forward testing tomorrow, and then next 2 weeks. We're all set up for that, and hopefully it goes really well. And our March Madness brackets, we had students fill those out. We've got a really nice looking bracket on the wall. If you go down to the high school wing, you'll see it on the wall there. Mrs. Lottie did that as well. It looks really nice, and kids are excited. Everyone's cheering for Duke, I think. Pretty sure Duke's gonna win. That might just be me.
Excellent.
High school Duke.
That's a lot going on.
Question.
Go ahead.
Like we talked about, like with all the honor roll, I mean, it sounds amazing, like we're picking up scores. Is there gonna be like an honor roll, like wall or place that we
Like posting
posting it? Like we had talked about maybe like a wall or like in the newspaper or something? Cause that sounds great, like it's a lot of students.
We've got, Mrs. Dottie's gonna send, information to, the newspaper.
Okay, I'm just saying like bringing attention to that,
Yeah.
like, that sounds like a lot of students.
Yep, I like that. Any other questions for Marcus? All right. Ms. Aaron?
Yep, right before spring break was Read Across America Week, highlighting Dr. Seuss's birthday, which we just make sure kids still know about Dr. Seuss.
Uh-huh.
We had all kinds of guest readers. I know Cornelius came down. The kids were like, "Who's that guy?"
Big school.
Yeah, well, there's lots of guest readers,
Nice.
parents, people from the community, so that was fun. Yeah, and they had, Elizabeth Weiss always does a phenomenal job of dressing up as the Cat in the Hat, and she plays out the whole thing. She was born to be Mary Poppins. And we make sure we like cover her so she can get to all the rooms.
Yeah.
So that is always a very big deal, and then there's, Dr. Seuss cupcakes at lunch, and, so, and Joanna did a ton of work to making sure everybody had those books, and she had a reading challenge, and so that was great. And that's been going on for many, many, many years, so, that's nothing new, but they get excited about it every year. Right out the gate, coming back from break, we started the Ames Web screeners for reading and math, and these are the screeners that we do 3 times a year. And you really gotta do that because then you jump right into state testing, so getting going allowed us to now, we have a week off before we jump into the forward exams. So it's just this big old puzzle of getting all the testing scheduled and organized between 3rd grade and 11th grade. So that's going in both buildings, and that tends to be a little chaotic for Brandon once in a while when we start up and we think we're all ready, and then there's error messages and passwords don't work, and somebody's password's 87 characters long, and calling customer service, and I think we're okay now. I called Jada and I was like, I can't even help them, I'm locked out of my account. I'm like, no! So, it was a little bit of a rough start, but we kind of expect that, I think. Every year. Every year, so it is the season for all the testing. In the background, curriculum orders and renewals those requests are coming in from companies right now and getting ready for next fall. This year, the focus will be on math, and I know that's probably in your docs, that cycle that we looked at. So, all of that planning for next year. What I didn't put on here is summer school. That link for registrations will go out this week to families, so we got a good jump ahead of the game on summer school. So give them a deadline, that we gotta be registered by April 17th, and that gives us, the office, lots of time, and the teachers lots of time to prepare for the numbers that we're gonna have. So it's always a little weird to start planning next year this early, but that's what happens. And it's just busy, so.
Okay. Any questions for Erin? All right.
Okay, financial literacy on our last in-service day, we had our team get together and they're going to work with the instructor from Loyal. I saw her at school board convention, and so we have a couple days with her in August. She's gonna review our curriculum ahead of time. Good news is some of what we use, they use, so there's some overlap there, so that's good. And then we're just gonna make sure we have a K-12 program in place for that.
Nice.
And I put down, we had 50 respondents for a staff survey, but now we have 72 out of a possible 94, so that's good. Next month, we'll present that information to you on how the survey is, and so far, the numbers look good. And then I'm reading a book because Chuck Holliday suggested it to me, and it's a good read. It's kind of scary. It's about the anxious generation and how much screen time they get and how their world's so instant, so.
Yeah, I've read it.
You read it?
Yeah, I read it.
Okay.
Okay. Oh, excellent. Any questions for Kyle? All right, thank you.
I said, yeah, you're right, it's not necessarily a good book. But
Yeah,
it's
it's
a
like-
good
it's
book.
It's good.
But it also gives you anxiety.
I
think it's good to help understand, which I think is some of the momentum of even, part of that book talks about being in conjunction with lawmakers and stuff like that too, and so that's been helpful,
Right,
having them, pass legislation that schools
From bell to
should,
bell, right,
so-
exactly.
not that a lot of schools weren't already starting to do that, but,
Right.
it's just nice knowing that it's a whole societal, we need to be aware of that stuff, so.
Like, does it talk about AI too?
Not really.
Too much
No,
AI,
not
because
that
it was
one.
written
Okay.
a few years
So it's
ago.
mainly screen
It's
Well,
all
I
time,
was
cell
just
phones,
wondering,
Yeah.
no.
like, how it's all changing so fast.
And I think that's part of the challenge is that, and that book is excellent, and rapidly getting even out of date because
Right, okay.
because of that, yeah,
Right.
which
Okay.
is part of it,
But the part about the
but it's really good.
children's time,
Yep.
it's amazing, and how
Well,
young
and
they
the
are.
data, and that has to catch up too, you know, so
Right.
we have a certain amount with that book.
And if you really wanna go down a rabbit hole, there's an entire companion website with all of the data supporting everything in the book, and it's, I mean, you can spend
Okay, I'm the
hours.
only one logged out on that.
You can spend
It's
hours
okay.
on that site.
That's too much.
Are
I-
you too?
it's-
Okay. It's not just me.
It's part of the job. It's, it's
Yeah, I get it.
also, yeah, so.
Well, it makes me feel like a bad mom.
No, I think it helps, I think it helps you reflect on,
Cause I'm like, here's Baby Shark and I'm annoying.
and they talk about balance and stuff like that.
Okay.
Too, so,
Yeah.
you know, it's like that.
No, I'm
Well,
interested in
and
it. It sounds interesting.
The
It's-
shift now is to talk about, instead of talking about numbers of minutes, to talk about the action and purpose.
Okay,
So that, like, all screen time is not the same, and he talks about that in that book, and actually now there's a shift in the conversation, cause it used to be just a specific number of minutes regardless of what you were doing, but minutes spent in something that's purposeful and educational and co-watched with a parent is different than minutes spent not doing those things.
Right.
So, yeah, so there's a recognition that there's a difference in the kind of activity that you can do as opposed to just the number of minutes, and so there's a shift in the conversation, which is, I think, helpful.
no, it's not,
And that's no different than when you watch TV, what you're watching.
Yep,
Is it
Right.
PBS or is it junk, you know, what are you watching?
Right.
And it's the same thing with what music you listen to, or
Yeah.
what books you read, you know, are you reading comic books, you're reading something that's got some teeth to it, you know?
but it is a really thoughtful.
I'm glad you recommended it.
Yeah, it's a good one. All right, so now we're on to board member reports and governments. Committee reports, we don't have any action here, but just some updates from committees. There were, if you saw in your extras, there are documents from, a couple of the committees, and then of course later we'll be looking at the, curriculum cycle, or we can talk about it now, I suppose, and vote on it later, either way. So we can talk about the education committee. Do you guys wanna just say anything about that?
February 23rd, I guess,
I mean,
What's
in
the
reality,
life? So long.
a lot's happened since then, so I think you're not wrong,
so.
but it's a while ago.
Oh, yeah, well, because we had that committee meeting, was it over in December or January? And then this was a follow-up,
Right,
kind
this is
of
a
based
follow-up
on
to
that.
that one. But the
Oh, yeah.
first thing was, well, and you'll see that later, but Aaron provided the committee with, curriculum cycle documents, so that it doesn't kill our budget or everything in one year, it's spaced out on a rotation, and also helps the staff, cause they don't have to take it all in on one time, they can, especially at the lower levels where a teacher teaches science, social studies, math, and English, okay, well, if you got it all coming in the same year, then all of a sudden you gotta learn it all. If we can space it out, it's better for finances and it's better for sanity.
Yeah.
So that was big. And then, go ahead. We talked about math and science.
Oh, yeah, and so, well, I think this was, you know, Emily brought this up too, that sometimes when students reach their senior year, they've met a lot of their core requirements, and so then it's hard, you know, sometimes to encourage them to continue to like, want to, you know, some kids will automatically push, but some don't, and so like we were talking about even, adding another credit of math and science, then we kind of came back to like maybe math or science, so that state requires three math, 3 science for graduation, but we were talking about that, the students having them take, at least one more, math or science, just to still continue to, push that part of their, brain, I guess, along with the.
And then some schools, some agricultural classes can count as a science credit. That all depends on your teacher's licensure system. So I contacted DPI, and unfortunately, Mr. Dipbrenner's license does not allow it to count as a science credit, even though he's an ag teacher and he's teaching the same course, it just doesn't count under the science world due to licensing. cause that would give us some flexibility with kids maybe not wanting to take a chemistry, but they could take an animal science class, you know,
Right.
something like that, or horticulture class, we're gonna learn botany and plants. We'll give them the science requirement, but that's not possible with what his licensure is.
How
So-
would that, could that change or no?
He would have to go back for more schooling, so
Oh,
it's probably
okay.
not,
Or real?
not
realistic?
not realistic for his life at this point in time,
Okay.
right, his career, yeah. There's multiple ways you can get a teaching license, and he went the non-traditional route. It wasn't his first career, so then he's not allowed to offer his ag classes, his science classes,
Right.
compared to someone who just came out of college as an ag teacher, certified through a 4-year degree in that
Okay.
manner, yeah.
Alright.
You wanna talk about volunteerism at all?
Well, basically, we talked about it before, and we're just diving deeper into it and kind of having to do the groundwork to really establish, a good, list of acceptable, I guess would be the word, of volunteer, of places and activities, and so that's something to be done. And as it says up there, just more idea of what are the hours, how are we going to approach the hours, what if somebody does 40 hours in 1 week, does that work for 4 years? And we just kind of hashed out all those things, yet to be, set in stone, so. Lots of conversations about it though, and I think it was really good in talking about volunteerism in the sense of community service, in the community sense, so.
And part of this was to come back to senior seminar.
Right.
And so senior seminar has continuously been evolving, changing. But like, they're, but to maybe not necessarily have the senior seminar class, because it more, most recently, if I'm correct, has kind of been for students to like do that civic engagement part during that time. But so maybe we go back to, volunteerism and then not necessarily have that half credit there, right?
Correct, cause that's senior
Thank you.
seminar
Thank you
goes
for
from the
not
business ed
misspeaking.
department to social studies to English, it's been bounced around, and so it hasn't, it's evolved, but not like, it's bounced
It's ever
more,
changing, I
it's
guess,
ever
maybe
changing
is that-
compared to
yeah.
evolving, right?
Yeah.
But now with
Yeah.
semesters, it makes it even more challenging, kind of stealing a placeholder
Yes.
to run senior seminar.
Yes.
Or they really can't afford to steal a placeholder,
Yes.
for electives.
The one thing I would wonder is if we could get maybe some student input when we're having this conversation about, because that all makes sense to me, and then we're talking about taking something that a student can currently do within the school day and making them do it outside of the school day. And they already have a lot of commitments in sports and clubs and jobs. And so I know that was part of what was not great about it before, so if we can have that conversation of how, like, I'd be curious what students think about that, or how that could be made more manageable for them. Cause part of the concern that I would have is that we're asking a lot of our students to participate in a number of different things, and now we're adding something to that
And
plate.
with that student conversation, we talked about how there are students probably already doing community service things for their own
They might be.
location, so having that conversation, saying, well, I already do the same for the Legion, or I already do this for, blah, blah, blah. And that, those things could certainly be part of a requirement, and since they're already doing it, then they get credit for it. So that was part of it too, to be engaged in their own community.
And we did
So to
talk about
speak.
working with like, some of the local, like the library or, is it Angel Hands? Like maybe even something like during the school day that, a student, if they had a study hall or during lunch hour, they could go and, you know what I mean, like still, like every Wednesday, they go and do that during that. So like having some opportunities, but I mean, I agree that it wouldn't necessarily be a bad idea to have some student voice in it, and maybe that's something the student council kids could, talk about. But we did discuss that concern too, that was part of why it came into senior seminar. A big part of it, I think COVID pushed it that way, and then, also do the fact, and then also making sure that there was opportunities throughout the district, so everywhere from Indian Creek to West Sweden,
Yeah.
to, you know, not just
Location-wise.
all happening here in the village of Frederic, because, you know, like we said, the big Easter egg hunt is happening, and maybe that's something that, you know,
Yeah.
students who live way out there, you know, I shouldn't say way out there, but you know what I mean, out in
Yeah.
Indian Creek,
Yeah.
then they can, or, I mean, anybody could go out there, but an opportunity that's close to home, so they don't have to
Right.
travel into.
I think part of the conversation too was what is more academically appropriate, and maybe the financial literacy part was, like, instead of taking that time to talk about community service or volunteerism, to actually put it into something that is more like financial literacy, and that goes back to what you were saying, the team that went to, you know, explore that curriculum farther. So taking that academic time and using it for something that's more academic, so to speak, rather than hands-on or.
You have something, April? Sorry.
I mean, a lot more people, they know curriculum, so I'm like, what is student seminar?
Oh, senior seminar?
Senior seminar.
So
Senior
it
seminar,
started
sorry, I'm
probably,
Cause you're saying it bounces around, so it's in
5
this-
years?
Senior seminar was a class. It
Right.
was in the business ed, then I went to, I don't know, social studies next, then English, or whatever it's called, it's three times. that I
Different
understand.
teachers with different content licensures taught it.
Okay, But- if it's like space in class, is there a way to take that time and being like, okay, you can volunteer here and we, like transportation or something? No?
No, we've taken it out now.
Okay,
It's gone.
so it's gone.
No, because it was balancing and it wasn't serving its original purpose.
Okay.
It was, yeah, it didn't have when we originally designed it or thought about it, it didn't really turn out that way, and so it was like, no, this isn't working the way we need it to.
Okay.
So we need to pull back and try and sort of reimagine this, or.
So it wasn't necessarily
Um,
part of a different class, but it was different content area teachers teaching it. So if the social studies teacher most recently had the extra space in their schedule to have that, so they were the teacher of that senior seminar.
Okay.
But it started out at, did you say in the business department?
Yes, I believe so.
And so, and every, obviously every, content area teacher has a different view of
Take
what's
on it.
important in it, you know what I mean? So,
Okay.
yeah.
I just didn't know if it was like a dedicated space,
Yeah.
time-wise,
It
that
was,
like it
but it's
could
no
be,
longer.
okay,
So,
that's like
And
my
that's why,
question.
with the volunteerism, we'd like to have some sort of graduation requirement, but we wanna make sure we frame it before we say, hey, you gotta put in X number of hours
Yeah.
over the next 4
Like,
years.
Yeah,
And then, well, what is that? We
Yeah.
want it well
Right.
framed and defined so that kids can know what they're supposed to accomplish and then accomplish it.
yeah, but
So-
is there like time in a day for a kid to do
It
it,
would
or does,
depend.
would it?
could,
It would
It could
depend.
be,
If
okay,
some kid might take a full schedule, then no, he doesn't have time,
Right,
because he
okay.
can't just rack
I
it
was
up.
just,
And that's why I'm saying, I think that's an important part of the conversation to have, is that there definitely, I'm sure there are students who have things that they're doing naturally in their lives that would fit that volunteer list. There are also probably a lot that don't. And I know just watching students go through the process and sort of, you know, kind of the conversation that's out there right now around sports participation numbers and club participation numbers, those things are dwindling. And when you look at the research says the reason those things are dwindling is because we're asking so much of our kids and they don't have the space and time and brain power to execute it all. And so more ask is just that, it's more ask. And that's the question that I would like us to really wrestle with is, we find that valuable as adults who have a lot of agency over how our time is spent. Kids don't always have that same amount of agency, so will they find it? And part of why the volunteerism requirement went away before is because kids weren't finding the value we wanted them to find out of it, because there was one more thing on their plate, that a list they had to check off, a thing they had to do, and it didn't end up having the benefit that we were hoping for.
Well, and
So that's the
volunteerism,
question.
on volunteering, they're being voluntold.
Yeah.
Hey, you gotta
Yeah.
do 5 hours, you gotta do 10 hours, well, now it's not volunteerism, now it's work, right?
Right.
I mean, you have
So
to do it, you know, so.
that's- I
it's
think
not-
there's
it's
a-
the spirit, no one's against volunteerism, but
No.
we wanna promote it the right way and
Yeah.
but you gotta do it, cause if you tell me I could do 5 hours, I'm telling you, at 5 hours, I'm walking out, you know, I'm not staying 6, right? Cause I did my 5, you know.
and that goes back to the reason we're having more conversation about it is, you know, what exactly would this volunteerism look like?
Right.
And could it be in the school? Can it be, you know, on the playground? Can it be, you know, reading to younger kids? I mean, there's a lot of things we could look at, and until we figure that out,
Yeah.
Right.
it's
Yeah.
still going to be a conversation.
It's a deep
Sorry, keep
subject.
on.
It is.
Cause when I was in high school, it was a 0.5 credit,
Mhm.
but they would like, so I did it, like, people could choose like different things, and one was like different, women's shelter, and one was like working at the Humane Society, but they would provide the transportation, like, it was like, that was your class.
Yeah.
And like, you could, it was like more of an elective than like a forced. So I kinda hear what you're
Right,
saying.
right, that's why, you know, as a
You know what I
requirement for
mean, that's where
graduation,
I'm
now
like
it's
hearing
forced.
where it's like,
Right.
no, you chose that elective and it is, cause you want to do that.
Right.
You know, like, I love animals, so it was like enjoyable for my 0.5, you know?
Right.
Right, that sounds more like an elective or a graduation requirement.
Yeah.
Right.
And that's why the conversations keep.
Yeah.
No,
that's
no,
exactly-
I know,
it is,
they
it's a-
are.
it is,
We haven't
it's a-
said
that's a
that.
great way to say it.
No,
It's a deep subject.
yeah,
Yep, for sure. Alright, any other thing, do we wanna talk at all about the curriculum cycle, or do we wanna do that later?
Later we
when it's
can
on
cover
our-
that,
Okay,
yeah.
sounds good. So then we also have, let me get back to my notes here, to make sure I follow along. The ad hoc committee met, that's Emily and I, we met with Kyle and our representative from School Perceptions to design the staff survey. Obviously, that's already out and being completed by staff. Again, working with School Perceptions is easy, they know what they're doing. So we'll look forward to getting those results. And then the facility committee, there were notes in the extras as well from the facility committee. I don't know,
People
April, if you wanna
update?
talk
Well,
at all
I think
about
it's
that?
just talking about the infrastructure that we have, and then like how, like, old it is, and it has to be repaired.
Mhm.
And plus with, like, you know, we're co-oping with, I guess, you know, luck and whatever, so it has to be repaired.
For the
But
track.
For the track,
Mhm.
right? And then how do we have the discussion about like the football field and everything that's going on? So we were talking about doing another community survey of like, if we can allocate, how do we fix this? Like, what upgrades can we do? And so if we did a survey, instead of being like, this is the bulk plan, we could have option A, B, C, D kind of thing, and have like contractors come out and kind of tell us where we can go, and what the community response would be of like, how we should go about this.
Mhm.
Cause it has to be done, like the track, what were we saying, it's like 27 years old or something?
The track, first off, it has to be resurfaced, but you can only put a resurface on the track so many times, and the base is probably at a little beyond end of life, so.
Right, so it has
That's
to
the best way
be,
to say it.
like,
Accurate,
it's
though.
Right, yeah.
bubbling.
So tomorrow, Carl and I are gonna meet with Market and Johnson and start talking about, okay, what kind of phases could we do here? Break it down into segments, and then before we do anything, we're not going up there tomorrow and ripping up the football field and putting it all in. We will survey the community and say, okay, cause the survey from, the community survey in November told us to research it, so we are researching it. And we will send it all out, and because when people see dollar signs and what scope and sequence could be, they'll have better opinions to say, yes, I can fully get behind that, or no, I can't.
Right,
So that's our goal, so
nice.
we'll start with Market and Johnson tomorrow. So-
But I also think like, too, with the survey, maybe being like, with inflation, this is what it could cost later,
Mhm.
right?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I feel like.
That's
If we do it
ours-
right now, this is what it costs, but if we wait, it's.
If we
gonna be-
wait,
5 or
it's
10
gonna
years from
be-
now, it's not gonna be cheaper if I had to take a guess. I mean, I don't know much about it,
I-
but that's about it,
But
That
I'm
feels
just
spot
gonna
on.
give.
right? I mean,
That feels
I don't
spot
know
on
how
to
much
me.
resurfacing the track in 2030 is gonna be, but it's probably gonna be less than 2035.
Yeah.
Right, but I feel like the surveys that we've been getting in have been like, so helpful.
Mhm. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so we're listening to the
Yep,
public,
so
and
we're
Right.
getting the
we're
right
gonna go with what
information
they're
before
telling
we
us, so,
create
yeah.
that. That sounds great. Any questions for the facility committee? Alright, and then we have the the policy committee, it looks like we do have some policy updates tonight. Sorry, it's hard for me to bounce back and forth between the two things. Looks like, policy update on school support organizations and Act 57.
Yeah, pretty much.
Alright, anything you guys wanna say about either of those, or?
I mean,
They're pretty straightforward, like the other updates?
Yeah, like one we're rescinding, but then they put a new policy in for
Right.
district support organizations, now school supported organizations, cause like our PTO and our booster club, they're a part of our community, but they're not part of the district.
Got it.
So they said, okay, don't call them district support organizations, call them school supported organizations. Cause we don't really govern them because they're a sidestep away from us.
Sure.
And, you know, we had some fundraising ones, and of course, the updating on if a child is, suspected there's a case of abuse or neglect, how we're gonna report it, has to be updated because of Act 57, so. Yeah.
Alright. Excellent, and then, there is a joint PAC board meeting coming up on April 1st at CISA 11. I think the registration deadline for this is March 23rd, so if anyone is interested in attending that, you need to let Kyle or Jessica know so that they can get you registered. I'm not available to go that day, can't make it to that. It's hosted at CISA, and there's they usually serve you dinner, and there's a presenter.
The date?
April 1st.
April 1st.
It's like 6
It's
to.
a Wednesday night.
Yeah, like 8:30 or 9 or something, it's
Yeah,
a full
There
day.
it is.
6 PM, or yeah,
Here's the
6,
guest speaker.
6:30 dinner and then 7:15 presenter.
Yeah.
I think it looks good, but I probably
The role
Yeah.
of AI and embracing and preparing for the possibilities is this topic.
Yeah, I looked at, I was
AI
like,
part,
I wish
I know,
I
I was
wish I was
like-
available, but I'm not available that day, so. But if anyone is and wants to go, let Kyle or Jessica know before the deadline, which is the 23rd. And then we have Staff Appreciation Week is coming up, May 4th through the 8th. So I think we were talking about, maybe one of the upcoming meetings could be a meeting of that employee recognition committee to set up some options for that.
Yeah, Jessica's has some ideas, and she's developing some. If we wanna order something, she'd appreciate if we could meet next week so that she has lead time to make an order of any sort. Last year we got the campfire chairs, we'll call them, you know, the folding chairs. If we wanna get something like that for staff, we've gotta get on it though, because first week of May will be here quick.
So we thought we would maybe, cause it's not the kind of thing we can really decide during a regular board meeting, but we thought from a committee standpoint, the committee can work directly with Kyle and Jessica to make some choices there for Staff Appreciation Week, so that Jessica could do those orders. So later when we get to discussing and establishing future dates, that's probably one of the committees that Kyle's gonna be looking for a date.
I mean, I can do it, or I volunteer it.
Yeah, that's great.
That'd be great. Okay, so that's it for board member reports and governance. Now we're on to, we do have, the policies to approve. So the first one is the special policy update for the school support organizations, as Kyle was just explaining. That change, can I get a motion to approve that update? Thank you, I'll second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Alright, and then the other one is the update, that goes along with Act 57, the update to those reporting requirements. Can I get a motion to approve that update to that policy?
Make the motion.
I'll second it. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Alright, policies are approved. On to our action items. The first one is, regarding the 26-27 CISA 11 shared services contract. Kyle, I'll let you say what you wanna say about this.
They send us the contract, there's a little bit of inflation, of course, with all the prices, and they show you, everything's available, of course, and then it's what you wanna renew, what you wanna drop, and my recommendation is keeping with exactly what we had this last year, knowing that, like, we went found a speech pathologist, I would be reaching out to CISA, but at this point, I'm like doing the same contract as last year.
Any questions for Kyle about the contract? It's one of those things that we kind of.
CISA's the devil's workshop. They take an administrative cut off the top, but they're necessary because
Yeah.
there's no other game in town, so, yeah.
We might have to look at Title I,
Title I.
because next year will be the year that we're in compliance review, so we might need their support.
That's when you can always add on things
You can
later.
add
Later.
Yeah. I'd rather not add it until I know I need it, cause I'm cheap. Right? I mean,
No, I-
no, yeah, I
that's
don't, you
the way
know,
to do
like,
it,
like,
I think.
I don't wanna do it, I know we might need it, but I'd
Yeah.
rather do,
So
okay, we need it.
Laura's like, you're Aaron, I'm gonna go,
Yeah.
Whatever we have to do to keep her from doing that.
Yeah.
Sounds good. Any questions for Kyle? Or if not, can I get a motion to approve that contract?
And I should say CISA 11 is good to work with. I've been 7 and 3 and 11's decent, yeah. Not that 7 and 3 aren't decent.
That's,
I'm just saying.
that's where we went, yep, with the
Down in Turtle Lake.
WSB
Yep.
rate,
Yeah.
is
Yep.
that the same?
Yep, same
It's the
place.
same.
That building, that's
Right.
where that's where they
Okay,
operate.
I'm
That's their
just-
like.
WSB
headquarters.
just happened to use their facility at night.
Yeah.
That's not where, WSB's out of Madison.
So if the Wisconsin School Board Association that we're members of comes to town to do something, they use CISA's building.
Okay,
But all of these things that we're talking about, they're run out of that building.
but they're not linked necessarily.
No, they're buddies,
They're
but they're
buddies.
not.
They're
They're
buddies,
not.
but they're not,
No.
okay,
Different government officials.
all the acronyms I'm
I know.
trying here.
Yeah.
It's okay.
I'm trying.
Alright, I will make a motion to approve that contract. Can I get a second?
I'll second
All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Alright, on to, the 26-27 Start College Now and Early College Credit applications. Kyle or Marcus, either one.
We have
take
quite
this?
we have quite a few students that are, I looked them over, I can't remember how many students, but it's classes we don't offer that they can take through universities. Most of them are, I think River Falls, I think they were from. I don't know where you are.
Alright, so we went one.
There's one right water, yeah.
I'll make a motion to approve those applications.
I can second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Oh, I'll make a note.
Oh, yes. She's abstaining because her daughter is enrolling in one of the classes and she can't have financial gain in her own house by voting on it.
Oh, I get it,
Right.
okay.
Good thing you
Got
shut
it.
it up, so there's still a quorum.
Yeah.
Okay.
That is
I
true.
forgot all about that.
Alright. Let's see, the next one on my list here, 10C, is consideration of possible action regarding an increase in compensation for all staff for the 26-27 school year. I love handouts.
These are hot off the presses this morning.
You're on it.
Okay, so the CPI for July 1 is 2.63%. Libby and I have been running numbers and we're recommending going to a 3% raise. If you go to page 3 of your booklet, you'll see the pay scale for the teachers. A1 is blank because that was base pay last year. And how we figured out the numbers is a staff member who's at A1 this year will be at A2 next year. So we took last year's A1 amount, multiplied it times 1.03, and A2 is now 46,638, so they're actually getting a 3% raise on their dollars from last year. The step is included in the 3%, it's not 3% plus a step, because then you get graded at 3%, we're not giving out more than 3%. The numbers at the bottom where it says master's, specialist degree, national board certified, anyone who has one of those receives that stipend as well, and those we increased by 3% as well, because sometimes items like that sit still, and then they lag behind on your dollars. The third page is just more additional forms of pay, curriculum pay, homework out instruction if we have that need. If you internally sub for giving up your prep, and those were all increased by 3% as well. And then you come to the support staff compensation on page 5. And we have A through L, plus then the last one's, it was 40 cents, but we moved up to 41 cents because that's what 3% is, it's a penny on 40 cents. A staff member will move over again, but we determined B by multiplying A times 1.03 to move it over. And then we made a new level A in case we hire someone at that spot. That's 1.5% greater than last year's because we want to keep moving that start pay up in case we hire a secretary, food service, custodian, maintenance person. We have IT support on here, but that's not Brandon Olson. That's in case we ever get him an assistant, but I don't see that happening, but we kept the line alive. One column we did get rid of, if you look at last year's book, is there was a maximum on each one of these. Well, I couldn't see having someone here for a dozen years and then freezing their pay and saying, no, you're never getting higher than that because they gotta make their ends meet at their household too, so we eliminated that, so. And then page 7, and this is only for support staff, so that's cooks, custodians, secretaries, aides, not certified staff, not administration, and not teachers. We have a longevity clause in there. It's the second paragraph, so if you've been here 10 years, you receive a one-time stipend of $1,000. If you've been here 20 years, you get $2,000, and 30 years, you receive $3,000. That's nice, but that 1,000, 2,000, and 3,000 was established about 5 years ago, so they remain the same and time has passed, and then folks don't stick around for 30 years anymore. 5 is the new 10 and 10 is the new 20. So my recommendation, and you guys can take it or leave it, would be to go with a 5-year, 10-year, 15, 20, 25, 30, and have it be $600 increments, 600 for 5 years, 1,200 for 10, 1,800. Right now we have 29 support staff, so you divide that out by 5 years and you got 5 or 6 per year. In our most expensive year, if we went to the new system, it would be.
This is just a stipend?
It's a one year bonus for sticking with us for 5 years, sticking with us for 10 years. Yeah, it's not adding on your salary because you don't wanna add it onto the base because then it'd be significant every year and it's ongoing. So we only wanna say, hey, thank you for sticking with us for 10 years to 20 years, but right now.
No, I was pretty sure that's what I just was clarifying.
Yep, no, that's good, no, please ask. So the most it would cost us in 1 year would be $5,250, and that's, we have 1 year where of the 29 people, 13 hit an anniversary year. If they all would stay with us at least 3 more years. But I think it's nice, and waiting 10 years to get a bonus is.
It's a long time. It's a long time.
It's a long time, yeah. But it's not for teachers, it's not for administration, it's all just for support staff, and
5 years is a nice.
those folks work hard around here.
They do.
Yeah.
Curious.
When we're talking about like raise it, because I don't know what other schools do or whatever, so is 3% a nice?
Yesterday I was at the Lakeland conference, and one district, I won't say who they are because I don't know if I have permission to say it, was giving a 5% raise for next year. The rest were between 2.5 and 3.
Okay.
A couple districts don't give a percentage, they're giving straight dollar amounts. One was $1,200 and one was $2,000. So it's hard to figure percentages because if you have one staff member making $45,000 and one making $70,000, $2,000 or $1,200 is a different percentage for each of those two folks. So I feel really good about 3%, and because it's almost a half point better than what the cost of living is, and last year we went 3.5 when the CPI was 3.0. And I know at some point in the future, the cost of living will be like, interest rates will be like 8 or 9%. Well, that year, we will not be able to afford that. So then we tell the folks, okay, you're gonna get 4% or 5%, whatever it is, it's gonna lag behind the cost of living. But they can know that in a decent year, we gave you 0.5 point more. And if you compound interest and you're building off it each year, that's better for them in the long run, so that when we get one of those years like that, they can weather it and they can say, okay, I didn't get quite as much, however, in the past, I got a little bit better, so you're hedging on it, so. Cause the state formula is not gonna change in our lifetime, so.
Right,
Yeah.
okay.
What?
No, I'm
Yeah.
just trying to understand like what the
Right,
average
right,
percent or
Yeah.
whatever,
Right.
like, I don't know.
And it is really, it does vary greatly by district, but in general, there is a ballpark that you get to know about when you talk with other districts.
Yeah.
what they're-
Yeah, and that's why we get together.
It's
So
a
it
good
makes us-
conversation,
yeah.
cause like we talk about, we want quality staff, we want teachers to wanna stay, so it's like, it's.
But you can't break the bank either, so.
No, I was just
Yeah, right.
wondering, you know, like,
Yeah.
And I think that's.
like you wanna be at least fair.
Right. And in my mind, I think that's the reason to not just say, we're gonna stick with CPI, we're gonna stick with what the cost of living number is. We're gonna try to stay ahead of that in the years when we can, because we wanna do that.
Right.
That's the reason to do
Okay.
that.
Yeah, I was just.
Yeah, the day will come where we can't, we won't be able to.
Yep.
And this guy's all hits, you know.
So if we're gonna make a motion to approve this, we would be making that motion to approve it with the alteration that you described for the longevity recognition for support staff.
Correct, yeah.
Question too with that, is there gonna be staff that, like, back pay?
No, because they're getting paid this year at this year's rate, and these rates will take effect for the 26-27 school year, which is July 1. And our teaching staff, they're getting paid through August for this year teaching, the new numbers, so your custodians who work year round, they would kick in for them in July 1. And the admin team would kick in on July 1, but the teaching staff and the aides that report when the kids come in August, they'll kick in when they start then.
I think, are you asking if I'm a support staff and I've been here for 6 years, and in the old model, I wouldn't get this stipend until I'd been here 10 years, but now the new model is 5 years.
Sorry,
is
thank
a
you for
6-year
articulating it, but yeah.
Is a person who's been here 6 gonna get that bonus now, or do they wait until they hit the next mark, which is at 10?
I'd wait till I hit the next mark, it's hard to go back. And they'll be thankful because they were the 10 years going up to 12, so they're gonna be thankful that they're gonna get more when they get there.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah, that was my question.
Yeah, you
Sorry,
can't,
thank
yeah,
you.
and we're not.
Okay.
I didn't mean
Yeah.
like back pay,
I gotcha.
okay.
Yeah, I didn't know.
Alright, can I get a motion to approve the increase in compensation for all staff for the 26-27 school year with the alteration to the longevity recognition for support staff that Kyle outlined?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second that.
Give me 1 second with my notes. So I can do the minutes properly later. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Alright, approved.
April was just, and I guess that maybe is a good question too, the A, B, C, D. Cause are the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, those are years of service, right? And the A, B, C,
Yes.
just out of curiosity, not that it changes the.
At some point after Act 10, the old ladder had steps and lanes, and you moved over so many credits in so many years, and at some point after Act 10, that went out the window, and Frederic came up with this A1 through D5 system, and I don't know how they chose to place who where, because I'll tell you why I don't understand it, because the master's degree is sitting on the bottom, which gives you a stipend, and if you were 3 or 4 columns over in the old way, you would have been getting credit for your masters when you got placed on the A, B, C, D. But that must have been to give them a bump at certain milestone years, and I think at the same time, you had to have glowing reviews or positive reviews in order to move a step. But I've been told no one's ever not moved a step around here, so I don't think that was occurring, so. To me, it doesn't matter if it says B1 or A6, that doesn't matter.
So where it says education level, it's really
Right, because you got the down the bottom, you have the specialist degree, you got the national board
Okay, I would-
certified,
yeah.
all those licenses, so
Should pull
I
like
hope.
a 2005 salary schedule, and then that would help you like.
Okay,
Really,
yeah.
it used to be kind of like, your years of service were this way, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then you had like your bachelor's plus 15, bachelor's plus 30, and then you get all the way to like a master's, but if you did a master's program, that was, 54 credits, you never got there.
Okay.
And then you have your years of service, so your first year teacher would be at 0, and there'd be a dollar amount in there, and then it'd stop. And then this one would go down and a couple steps further, and then it would stop. Because it was forcing you to go this way, but you also had to go over anyways, because in order to keep your license for teaching alive, every 5 years, you had to get 6 credits, so you might as well get more credits and get paid more for doing the same job. But then lifetime licenses came in, and Act 10 folded it, and the whole world got shook upside down. But if you go to Minnesota or Illinois or Iowa, they're still under that system there. Wisconsin's unique because of 2010. So, it was exciting.
Yeah, it does, it is unique. It was really
We all
a
feel
mess.
the same way about that.
It was really a mess the year it shifted, because
Yes.
I had no way to move up on the pay scale, because I had to take credits to get relicensed, but the pay scale changed.
Yeah.
And I went, where do I go?
Yeah.
So I went and got a master's,
Yeah.
because if I had to take credits, then I might as well.
I got a master's and it kept me from going backwards after Act 10.
But some of the staff were not happy about that, because then I jumped ahead of a bunch of people with less years of service.
Oh,
It's
yeah, it's been
complicated.
beautiful.
Okay.
Yeah.
tangled, yeah.
And that still happens now
Switching
when
from
we
one
hire
system to
someone
another.
from, like a speech pathologist comes in and we hire X amount of dollars and they leapfrog over someone else and says, well, but it's just, we're all free agents these days.
Supply and demand.
All right, I'm gonna move us on to our next action item is the, regarding dual enrollment with UW Whitewater for the 26-27 school year. So I assume we have,
Yeah, in order to keep using Whitewater next year, we just have to have a memorandum of understanding with them.
all right, I'll make a motion to approve that, can I get a second?
It's a
And then
little
early
different,
college
but,
credit.
yeah, but we're gonna go with the same system that we here at the school, pay for the same number of credits, yeah. I don't know if I have that.
I thought I saw it, down in southeastern Wisconsin. I just saw it Green Bay, a little bit north of Milwaukee.
Okay,
Oh.
so then do they do it online?
It's online.
It's right next to East Troy.
Yeah, East Troy.
Right, so like that,
It's down over here.
Oh, yeah, there you
I
go.
spent the
Take
6
care of your
best years of my
Wisconsin.
life there, it was fantastic.
Okay.
If I could get one of my kids to go there, I'd be so thrilled.
Are you saying that this isn't currently the best years of your life?
that couldn't possibly be.
Well,
right.
that's what I
love
because
living
you're
on
here,
campus.
that's
what-
If I could go back to Whitewater, I'd live on campus again.
All right, I'm making a motion to approve that dual enrollment with UW Whitewater for 26-27 school year. Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, and then we're on to the curriculum, rotation that was presented.
Yeah, I saw it right.
There we go.
So there's a lot more on here. I just gave the actual document to Jessica. So what you are gonna wanna look at as the year that we're in. So going into next year, what we really need to reorder is our math curriculum. And what we're trying to do is space this out so that we're buying in a 5-year cycle. We purchase 5 years of one content area, so that we're not purchasing all, ELA, math, science, social studies, and electives all the same year. So some of this extra stuff are the things that we have to purchase annually. I'm trying to keep a spreadsheet of everything so that helps Libby otherwise it's not always, what's that? She doesn't know what all these things are all the time, so this is our working document. But math is what we're gonna have to, this spring, purchase 5 years of. Okay, so then if you go down next year,
But I'll show the dollar signs too.
okay,
So you got the cost of what it's gonna cost in 2026, and then you go down, go ahead.
yep, and we gotta fill in, so my, once we have the quotes, we'll link the quotes in here for Libby. Next year, we have to do a little bit of staggering in order to get everything else into a 5-year rotation. So next year, we need to purchase 3 years of reading, 2 years of science, and only 1 year of social studies
To set up the rotation.
to set up the rotation. So then in 2028, we will order 5 years of social studies. 2029, 5 years of science, right? 2030, we'll focus on, reading, and then in 2030,
We're back to math.
then we're back to math, right? Then we'll get an elective year in there as well, eventually, so,
We got out of whack because during COVID, we got extra funds from the feds, and it was spent on some curriculum, and we bought a lot of curriculum in the same year. When you do that, that's fine, because you have found money, but now we don't have found money, so you gotta stagger it out, so the dollars make sense.
so the game we'll have to play, it was a little trickier, cause you really could have picked any of them to stagger, right? But what I did was try to look at when the state is gonna review the curriculum standards for each subject area. And you don't wanna start researching textbooks the year that they're gonna change the standards, you know, right? So you want them to change the standards and give the curriculum companies a couple of years to shore up before you decide to purchase a new resource. So trying to figure that out at the same time as what we're doing was a little messy, but this at least gives us a start.
And so we're asking you to approve it, however, no, it's a working document, and we may come back in a year from now or 2 years from now and say, no, we're tweaking it because
Yeah.
it's,
Yeah, I mean, it for sure is gonna have to live in real time, cause what if the
Totally.
state, what if the state doesn't do exactly what they said they were gonna do?
And they
I mean, I know
don't.
that never happens, but
Right,
what
but
if?
Because,
yeah.
because the
Well, 'cause
health
it's-
standards were supposed to be renewed in 2011 and they're still not.
well, cause this goes all the way to 2036, so what we're asking you to do is to prove it, but things will change, and then
Yeah.
one of these resources, like Amplify Science, may not be there by that point.
Sure.
Right, they would purchased by somebody else or completely
Yeah,
changed.
companies
Yeah.
merge, or they drop a product
I
or something.
think the idea was to have a working document with the correct links that we can add the quotes so that Libby has an idea of what the heck's going on.
Yeah,
Because otherwise she gets an invoice and goes, what's Haggerty?
right.
She has no idea what that means, right? It's a
Yeah.
name of a company. So,
Well, and it's really important as, I mean, the budget process isn't gonna get easier, so this is important in my mind to lay out, because there's a lot of work to do to manage what's coming from a budget standpoint, and so I think it's important to have
we'll
this,
just keep,
to have as much of a map as we
Because
can
it's
provide.
not for now,
yeah, I mean, and we, just keep updating it. I mean, I get inundated with quotes and offers and solicitations all the time.
Yeah.
But when I get that information, now I have a place to put it.
Yeah.
So,
Any questions about the cycle that's being proposed? If not, can
Is
I
this
get?
like the books?
the text,
Yeah.
textbook
Textbooks,
resources,
workbooks.
yes.
Okay,
And then, there's supplemental material too.
okay, I
Or
was just,
online subscriptions that go with it.
okay,
We currently pay for our Ames Web, math and ELA screener, which at the lower grades is required by the state, right? So there's some things on there that we just have to purchase annually.
Right.
okay, yeah, I was just curious, cause textbooks change, I get it.
Yeah.
So it's like you have to, okay,
You gotta get yourself into a cycle where you're looking at that and reviewing them so that, the first time we updated curriculum, we had resources from the 80s.
right,
Right, we don't wanna get into that
Right.
type of a situation again.
yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's great that you've been able to figure it out, it's kinda like,
This is a.
Kind of.
Yeah.
I'm presenting it as figured it out.
Yeah, it's
I'm like,
always gonna be a moving.
okay,
Yeah.
cause I'm like,
It'll keep shifting, but this at least gets us
Yeah.
into
This is
what
what we
looks
know
like a
today.
cycle.
It's a good plan. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, that's great.
Yeah.
okay,
All right, can I get a motion to approve
I'll make
that
a motion
curriculum
to
rotation?
I'll second that.
Be all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, Matt, thank you for your work on this. I know that was not,
Yeah, I'm like,
that's not,
okay.
it looks more simple than it was to put it together, and I want you to know
So
that I
thank you for
understand.
that presentation.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
a beautifully
It's
clear.
very organized
for
and
us.
clear.
It might have been
Thank you.
at trial number 5, honestly, but I haven't really, I took a break to do summer school, so now I gotta come back to it.
Yeah. I get it, I get it. All right, discussion of establishing dates for future board meetings and any committee meetings. So I think the only, well, I know the committee, we wanna have the employee recognition committee meet, right? You guys are
Right.
hoping to meet next week?
And the facility should wait until Carl and I meet with Market and Johnson to see, cause Market and Johnson will hear us tomorrow. And then they may need some time to prepare some numbers and some ideas for us, but when that comes, I'll get ahold of the facility committee.
Sure.
But the employee recognition
Yeah.
next week would be great.
Who else is on?
I was part of
Yeah.
that,
Okay.
yeah. I mean, next week, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, I think I could make work. If it was Tuesday, I have to be able to do it.
Tuesday, no, or
I mean,
Monday's better?
Monday or Thursday was better, but I could make Tuesday.
Can we do Monday, so
Yeah.
just a good time?
This Monday.
What
works.
time, yeah, what time works for the 23rd?
You guys are is 4. We can go later, cause you need a little bit.
Like
later for
Tuesdays
you.
would, I could do during the day,
Mhm.
but, Monday, like, I like the 5:30, if that's okay, or is that too late for you guys?
Not too late for me, but Jessica usually is done at 4.
Okay.
Which, I mean,
Thursday, I
we
could,
could meet without her, she give us her
okay,
ideas.
you said
Let's go
Thursday?
5:30.
Thursday would also, yeah.
Cause Thursday,
No,
I have childcare.
No, Thursday.
Thursday don't work for me, no, but
Okay.
let's do Monday at 5:30. And Jessica either can come back to the meeting or give me some ideas.
Okay, is that,
Yeah, Monday at 5:30 works for me. I just was saying like, I can go as early as 4.
cause
I
like
can go-
Tuesdays and Thursday, I can
Yeah.
do it during the day, but
Yeah. No, that,
it doesn't work for you guys.
Yep.
Okay,
Okay,
So Monday at 5:30?
Yep.
Alright, and then we have our April regular meeting is on the 15th, right? Is that
Mhm.
right? Alright. We are going to take a short break before convening a closed session.
well, that was the.
April 15th is the regular meeting.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
And then we
Sorry,
said-
I was too busy making sure I had the semi calendar, I'm like, I'll ask that question after I get. Okay, yes.
Yeah,